court after he launched a witness-given evidence. 25-year-old Sielan Gilau died in hospital after being shot several times by a U.S. Marshal in front of the jury at the new federal courthouse. Well, the FBI said he had rushed towards the witness with a pen in aggressive, threatening manner. Angelo was the last of 17 accused gang members tried as part of a 2010 case. The case included 20 counts, including assault, conspiracy, robbery, and weapons offenses. The witness on the stand at the time was not identified and was not injured. Well, to the news of the week, should I say. Only yesterday, the British media was awash with reports of the impending sack of David Moyes by Manchester United. And today, when the Red Devils hierarchy confirmed this dismissal, it did not come as a shock to those who had been following the latest developments. Well, having been tasked with the responsibility of succeeding Sir Alex Ferguson, the Scot often struggled to maintain the high standards set by his predecessor and ended up paying the price. Oh.
Here he comes. Let's just listen in once he makes his way out there.
The media has been awash with the news of David Moyes' impending sack, but it finally came to pass early Tuesday morning. He was told personally at Manchester United's training pitch by Chief Executive Ed Woodward.
Top of virtually everything in this first half. Coleman. Miranda!
The Scot, who was handpicked by Sir Alex Ferguson, has no doubt had a tough time at the Theatre of Dreams.
Yaya Toure makes it 3. 3 points, 3 goals, and another huge statement at the home of their bitter rivals.
During his reign, the Red Devils have gone from Premier League champions to mid-table mediocrity in less than a year, and Moyes knew the buck can only stop at one place, his table.
Thought about the shot and delivers a superb goal! What a disaster for Manchester United!
I take complete responsibility for the results, and fortunately they've been good in the Champions League, but they've not been good in the Premier League, so I take responsibility for them as well.
Veteran midfielder Ryan Giggs, who has been working as one of Moyes' assistants, will be in charge for the final 4 games of the season in the English Premier League. Dutchman Louis van Gaal, who will quit as coach of the Netherlands after the World Cup in Brazil, is favourite to replace Moyes.
And joining me now on The World Today to talk about the sack of Sir David Moyes is our sports correspondent, Cecilia Omorogwe. Cecilia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let me quickly say that the game on Sunday between Everton and Manchester United seemed to have broken the camel's back.
Yeah,
seeing that, Everton is back to beat the great Manchester United. Was that really what happened?
To be the great Manchester United. Okay, basically, it's been coming. If you check since last year, December, especially in January, when he lost about 3 games in a row, which has never happened before in the Premier League era, everyone were thinking he will be sacked. But looking at Manchester United, that club is actually a club that loves stability. That's why David Moyes was hired in the first place, even despite the fact that he actually came in without any cup to his name, so to speak. But he came in with so much promise. Sir Alex Ferguson said that he should be backed. And, of course, the fans stood by him. The board stood by him. There was actually a time, some games that they actually played, especially the game against Liverpool, where it's no longer the choosy one. There was this banner the fans carried at the stadium and all that. So it's like once the fans turn against a particular manager, it's always difficult for the board to stick with that manager, no matter how much faith they had in him. I think, just like you said, the Everton game is actually what broke the camel's back. Because for the first time in a long while, 1969-70 season, that was the last time Everton actually had the doubleheader.
And now
over
it looks like
Manchester
they're
United.
back on track.
On track,
after
while Man
Moyes
U is
left.
actually declining. Yes.
This is serious. It looks like it's a Moyes thing.
They're actually better off without David Moyes. So if you look at the record Everton have actually gotten this season, for the first time they're having their best Premier League points so far, while Man U are having their lowest Premier League points so far.
Serious.
So if you look at it, I think it was something that was actually expected. It didn't come as a surprise at all.
Let me now ask you this question, because then we have to look at a way forward. All right, what is the future for David Moyes? Should he, okay, because I know someone like him will not give up like that.
Of course.
I don't see any club hiring him anytime soon.
Big top club.
Big top club
Yes.
anytime soon. And obviously, Manchester United is also scouting for a new manager.
Yes.
How do you see these two play out?
I think it's going to be difficult for David Moyes, because when he came to Man U, he had a lot of confidence and all that. He has a big pedigree, so to speak. But right now, he's out of the job. Now, which club will hire him? That's going to be another difficult one. It's like he actually came, wrecked all the records set by Sir Alex Ferguson.
That's been harsh, you know. You can
He broke all the records,
Nice,
in
okay.
a kind of a negative way. So he's leaving now. So what will happen to him? Well, I think Manchester United board did not really do him a huge favor, because you signed this man knowing that he doesn't really have much, because he's more like a mid-table coach. You brought him in and you said you were going to give him 6 years contract, of course. Which
I'm
you
sure
gave
there
him.
were clauses
You give him time,
in the.
of course. You
there
give
were
him
clauses
time.
in the.
You will give him time, and now he's out of the job. I felt they should have just allowed him to stay till the
I'm
end
sure there are
of the
certain
season.
clauses that ties.
Of course, there are.
Such
But when you bring in a coach and you're giving him that 6 years, and you know he doesn't really have much, he's not a big-time coach, so to speak. It's just like every other coaches. You have Roberto Martinez
Is
and
it
others.
possible it goes back to whatever
precisely,
school
no.
of coaching? I'm just asking.
I think that's not it. He has a
question.
lot of money to actually play around with,
Okay.
the money he's going to be given and all that. So if he's out of a job for 1 year, definitely Manchester United will be paying him. But you talked about the coach that will replace him. There's speculations that Louis van Gaal is actually favorite to replace him. And also for him, I think it's not the end of his career. But I just hope and pray that he should be able to pick himself up, because right now, how many clubs really want to go for him?
You never know. You never know. Fingers crossed for Manchester United, and fingers crossed for David Moyes. Thanks a lot, Cecilia, for speaking to us on
Thank you
this.
for having me.
When we come back on The World Today, South Sudan. The South Sudan rebels denied the accusation of the Bentiu slaughter. We'll be right back.
If you want to know what's trending or you miss your favorite live shows, you can watch it all on our YouTube channel. Simply log on to www.youtube.com/channelsweb, scroll down to your favorite program and click play. You can also view all uploaded videos by clicking on View All. Don't forget to subscribe and get the latest videos. If they are interesting, like them and be heard. Get connected with the channel's television YouTube page. The news at your fingertips.
Welcome back. You're watching The World Today, broadcasting live on Channels Television. Rebels in South Sudan have denied a UN report that they killed hundreds of civilians after taking control of the oil hub Bentiu last week. Their spokesman, Brigadier Oang, said there was a security vacuum after government forces left the town. The UN said that civilians were killed along ethnic lines at a mosque, a church, and a hospital. But the rebels suggested that government forces and their allies could have been responsible in order to make the conflict appear as though it was a tribal war. More than 1 million people have been forced from their homes since the fighting broke out in December 2013, and the conflict pits President Salva Kiir, an ethnic Dinka, against his former Vice President Riek Machar from the Nuer community. Joining us now via Skype is the Voice of America's John Taza. He is the managing editor and co-host of South Sudan in Focus. Hello, John. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, despite the ceasefire deal that was signed, why has it been so difficult to implement it?
Well, the two parties have not, although the two parties signed a ceasefire agreement, they have not been implementing it. The government, right away after signing the ceasefire agreement, started attacking rebel positions. And the rebels, in return, also started attacking government positions. And of late, the rebels have really intensified their attacks on major key towns in South Sudan. Like earlier this week, they captured a